This area on the map represents the temple of the sea god Poseidon. Hera's temple, set just outside her golden orchard, can be seen here, fashioned of stone. Safe within his grasp, Argonus touches the stone to the temple. The world about him suddenly begins to dissipate. Hoping that he has guessed correctly, Argonus removes the heart from his satchel and plunges it between ancient ribs. Sensing its master, the skeleton turns hollow eyes toward the sailor, beats sword against shield, and obediently follows. The Argo, built by Argus of Crete, brought to ruin by the song of sirens, beached by the hand of a sailor. Once the stone is held within the light, the world around Argonus wavers. As soon as Argonus moves the stone to the temple, the room falters and everything goes dim. As soon as Argonus lays the lyre at the feet of the statue, the god of truth and prophecy awakens once again. Apollo appraises the gift for a few moments before the stone lips part.
Though its form is crude, and its strings are found wanting, you have done well to bring this lyre into my temple. And although these days are dark, it shall bring music where none could be found. I would appear a boorish god if I did not offer something in return for this boon.
Apollo says, gazing about, seemingly lost in thought. The statue waves his hand, and a heartbeat later, Argonus feels his satchel move.
Take this, historian, so you are forever with song, forever with music. Let it never be said that Apollo is not as generous as he is beautiful.
A smile forms upon Apollo's face, before becoming unmoving stone once more. This shell was given by the god Apollo. When put to a sailor's ear, the sound of dark waves can be heard, above a faint, beckoning song. While the bleached skull itself would seem common, the vision that appears when touching it is anything but. That of a dark castle and eyes of flame. Once the stone is held within the light, the world around Argonus wavers. As soon as Argonus moves the stone to the temple, the room falters and everything goes dim. Freed from the rocks below, the remnants of a once great ship have washed upon the shore. Argonus places a shell into the palm of his undead vassal. Though neither word nor gesture is exchanged, the skeleton turns and walks obediently toward the shore, even as the goddess Athena fades from sight. When the warrior arrives, the curious look upon the face of the siren quickly turns to horror as she recognizes the god-imbued power held aloft within fingers of bone. The songstress's eyes grow wide as the fetters of her enchantment break, and her sultry voice wavers. In an instant, her baneful song is pulled from her lips and held fast within the shell. His great task complete, the skeletal warrior returns to its master, a powerful gift cradled within its bleached, outstretched palm. As soon as Argonus takes the shell from the skeleton's bony grip, the Hydra's heart within its breast shatters. Its work done, the warrior becomes quiescent once more, as if awaiting orders from the very gods themselves. This shield, forged long ago in bronze, bears the crest of the Hydra. Doubtlessly drawn to the rocks by the same lilting aria that doomed the Argo herself, this ship is no more. Once the stone is held within the light, the world around Argonus wavers. Argonus removes the buckler from his back and carefully places it on the floor. The result is immediate and startling. The shaft of light bounces off the reflective shield, and within moments, the entire cavern is illuminated by an unearthly glow. A length of heavy iron chain hangs from the ceiling of this chamber. The rusted chain is no match for the enchanted sword. As iron links fold, a loud crash shakes the chamber, and the horror that was held captive high above settles on the stone floor below. This lad is none other than Leodocus, son of Pero, who in turn was daughter of Neleus. How he entered into this labyrinth shall now forever be a mystery. A sigh escapes Argonus's lips as he uses the power of the diamond on the statue that was once his shipmate.
Ventured deep into the mountain, through twisting corridors made of stone, lit by nothing more than the shifting light of my faithful torch and the scarce oil-filled vessel. The darkness of the labyrinth is as nothing compared to that which haunts me. A query so disquieting, so disheartening that I have dared not glance too deep into it, lest I be pulled under. That is, until now. Where are the sailors of the Argo? Where are those men whom fair Athena has seen fully flesh with her own eyes? Surely they must live, but standing before slain Leodocus, my faith falters. I recall the goddess's words, reciting them aloud, as if in them was held some great power. But my voice merely finds walls of stone. Should I follow these echoes into darkness? No. On this day, when strength fails and mortal ills prevail, I shall refine my will within the flames of hope and cast away doubt. For if I do not, and succumb to unbelief, what then shall become of my valiant companions? Though these words may never reach the shores of Crete, I will not tarry in my writings, nor shall I abandon all hope. For despite my frailties, my foolish nature, I have found favor in the sight of the gods themselves, and one in particular, a goddess. Who am I that fair Athena would appear before me, clad in glory, full of providence and grace? Although I am but a man, she once again saved me from ruin. For I would have surely walked, beguiled, into the depths of the very sea I have pledged my soul. No, I will not abandon hope, nor shall I declare the lives of my fellows forfeit. For if a goddess finds me worthy of new breath, and declares my brethren yet live, who am I to question? Who am I to contend? And while she remained a steadfast bulwark in times of trouble, an idea formed within me. Though no mortal man can resist the siren's call, mayhap the dead could render her enchantment unavailing. From the mouth of a siren, daughter of the river god Archelaus herself, my undead servant drew forth the lilting aria. Thus a great labor that began with a beating stone heart and ended with a captured beguiling song was fulfilled.
While the weight of the bronze shield comes as no surprise, the high polish on such an item astonishes. The stone is suspended in the light but for a moment before the world fades from sight. The owl cocks its head, as if listening. Remembering Euryale's dying words, Argonus holds Apollo's gift to the mouth of the massive ram's horn. The lilting song of the daughters of Achelous pours from the shell, spreading a grand, beguiling melody throughout the valley below. Within moments, the mountain under Argonus begins to rumble, and the sound of resounding massive footfalls can be heard over the haunting din. Although he has witnessed many events that no other living mortal has beheld, still Argonus's heart is filled with a terrible awe as Talos appears through the sea fog. Drawn by the siren's call, the bronze giant moves steadily, striding toward the mountain until its massive head fills the arched windows of the Gorgon's lair. Before becoming completely still, Talos extends his hand as if in invitation. Sensing a finality to his quest, Argonus does not disappoint the giant. With a deep breath, the sailor steps hesitantly onto the immense bronze palm. Argonus girds himself, as if bracing for the crash of a mighty wave, and great Talos turns from the mountain and begins moving once again. As the giant lumbers, far above the dark sea below, the air around Argonus becomes heavy, and the skies part at the bidding of his guardian goddess. Athena, once again revealed in glory, smiles as she speaks. Argonus, my hero, my warrior. You have done what no man has done before you. Yes, you are nearly there. But where you now go, fair Athena cannot. Do not lose heart, for my promises are true, and your brethren await you. Again I say, do not despair, for you have proven yourself time and again, and neither Stheno nor the gates of Hades' realm can hinder you. The goddess lifts her hand in a final blessing as the rift closes about her and she fades from view. Fare thee well, sailor of the Argo. Fare thee well. His heart heavy, Argonus' eyes are drawn upwards, where he finds himself beneath another towering mountain, a crumbling entrance hewn into its face. Talos moves his massive hand until it scrapes stone, allowing Argonus to climb down. His task done, the bronze giant turns and slowly walks toward the very sea that holds dear the heart of Argonus. Book 5. These Dark Shores.
Stand aside, Charon. I claim this boat in the name of my sister, Medusa, who wails in torment within Tartarus.
Only the dead.
So Hades' undead pet will not yield to me. I say again, stand aside.
Only the dead.
So be it. It matters not. These black waters shall carry my vengeance hence. I shall return, boatman, with the hosts of the dead in my wake.
Argonus puts his weight against the wood. As the lever moves, great stone doors part. Argonus contemplates boarding the skiff, but then remembers that the ferryman to the underworld requires a payment for passage. The sailor of the Argo reaches into his satchel, removes a silver coin and presents it to the ferryman. Charon gazes upon it for a moment, then simply shakes his head. Before Argonus can offer protest, distant sounds rise from the river, whispers echoing off wet stone within the damp cavern. Within moments, new voices join the others, creating a disquieting chorus of shouts and cheers.
Join us, Argonus! Join us, Argonus! Hail the son of Argus! Argonus! He has freed us!
Argonus weeps at the words of tribute as the souls of slain Argonauts rise from the shadows, appearing before Charon, beseeching, entreating, almost as one voice.
Hail the son of Argus!
As the eyes of Charon move slowly from the spirits to the astonished sailor, Argonus's hand shifts once again, showing that within it, he holds the power of life and death. Charon gazes at the gift from Thanatos, and after what seems to Argonus an eternity, the ferryman relents, motioning the Argonaut to board. As he steps onto the skiff and Charon sets his oar to black waters, a sobering thought enters Argonus's mind. At first, it is a small speck, but it grows even as the sailor's eyes widen in understanding. Athena did not lie. She fulfilled her promise. She granted him a boat from this isle, but not the one he imagined. No, not this one. Grasping this great deception, a wave of anger crashes over Argonus, nearly drowning him in its fury. He who had supped, fought, and bled beside hero Jason, he who had sailed seas no man had set oar within, he had been played the fool. But even as this vile thought seeks to overcome him, to bring him to his knees, another appears. It is different from the last and whispers something new into Argonus's ear. Something far more powerful. Perhaps he had washed up onto these shores, a sailor, a historian, a map maker, and yes, the puppet of a goddess. Perhaps this was so. But has he not now become so much more? A hero in his own right, with a story yet to complete. Argonus, the rider of Pegasus, liberator of souls, bane of harpies, forger of light, sets his jaw, knowing that Sthennos' retribution must come to an end. And as he stares out beyond the Black River, tendrils of darkness surround the boat, and the underworld claims him as its own.
Spell falls over me, carried on waves of blackest night. Dark waters rise over me. Your spell